Hello, and welcome to today's discussion. I want to start by acknowledging something that many people experience but rarely talk about openly. Today, let's explore together how to approach apathy and the feeling of having lost your inner spark or motivation. If you're watching this, you might be experiencing something deeply challenging, that sense of moving through life as if you're underwater, where everything that once brought you joy or excitement now feels distant and almost impossible to reach. Perhaps you wake up each morning feeling disconnected from the person you used to be, or you find yourself going through the motions of daily life without feeling truly present or engaged. This experience can be profoundly isolating, and I want you to know that what you're feeling is valid, and more importantly, that there are evidence-based approaches that might help support your journey back to feeling more like yourself. Let me share what current research has revealed about the nature of apathy and how our understanding has evolved. Recent scientific investigations have provided remarkable insights into the neurobiological foundations of motivation and what happens when these systems become disrupted. A research team conducted groundbreaking studies in 2024 using computational models to understand how the brain's reward learning systems function in people experiencing apathy and anhedonia. What they discovered was quite significant. Through analyzing dopamine-linked responses in the brain, researchers identified specific neural activity patterns that could actually predict an individual's potential for recovery. They found that the brain generates certain signals, what scientists call prediction error and expected value, and these serve as important indicators of how someone might respond to various interventions. The expected value signal, which reflects how our brain anticipates rewards and guides our decision-making processes, emerged as a particularly consistent predictor across different types of support approaches. This research is important because it demonstrates that apathy isn't simply a character flaw or a sign of laziness, as it's sometimes misunderstood to be. Instead, current research suggests that apathy represents a specific pattern of neurological functioning that can potentially be addressed through targeted approaches. Scientists have found that apathy is not a single, uniform experience, but rather what researchers describe as a syndrome comprising multiple behavioral changes across different areas of functioning. The neuroscience behind motivation involves something called midbrain dopamine neurons, which play a crucial role in how we respond to rewards and maintain positive motivation. These neurons are designed to respond to various types of rewards and reward-related cues, and they serve multiple functions in motivational control. They act both as teaching signals that help us learn from experiences and as incentive signals that encourage us to pursue rewarding activities. What's particularly encouraging is that research has shown these systems retain plasticity, meaning they can adapt and change. A research institution conducted studies demonstrating that when appropriate interventions were provided, participants regained their motivation to engage in goal-directed behaviors. This suggests that the neural circuits involved in motivation can be reactivated through specific, evidence-based approaches. Another important finding comes from research on neuroplasticity, which is the brain's remarkable ability to reorganize and form new connections. Studies indicate that when people step away from depleting patterns and engage in supportive practices, their brains can gradually restore more natural patterns of neurotransmitter production and receptor sensitivity. This process takes time and patience, but the research suggests it's possible for many people. Now, I'd like to share some practical approaches that are grounded in this scientific understanding. Please remember that these are suggestions based on current research, and what works can vary significantly from person to person. It's always important to consider what feels appropriate for your unique situation. The first approach involves what researchers call prediction error training. This method works by helping to rebuild the brain's natural reward prediction systems, which can become disrupted during periods of apathy. Here's how this might work in practice. Each morning, identify one small, achievable task that typically takes about 15 to 20 minutes. Before you begin, take a moment to rate how satisfied you expect to feel after completing it, perhaps on a simple scale from 1 to 10. Then complete the task mindfully, paying attention to the experience. Immediately afterward, rate how satisfied you actually felt. Record both numbers somewhere you can track them. The reason this approach might be helpful is that it provides your brain with clear feedback about reward prediction and outcome, which research suggests can help rebuild neural pathways that support motivation. Many people find it helpful to practice this consistently for several weeks to allow new patterns to develop. A second approach involves what might be called micro-achievement building. This method recognizes that our brains respond well to manageable successes, especially when motivation feels low. You might start with activities that require very minimal effort, perhaps organizing a single drawer, reading just one page of something interesting, or taking a brief 5-minute walk outside. The key principle here is maintaining a high success rate, ideally above 80%, which research suggests helps keep reward pathways activated. As your brain begins responding to these small completions, you can gradually and gently add slightly more complex activities. This approach works because it respects where you are right now while creating conditions that might support gradual expansion of your capacity. The third method involves incorporating gentle, rhythmic physical movement into your routine. Research has shown that certain types of movement can directly influence the brain areas involved in motivation. This doesn't mean intense exercise. Instead, consider activities like walking to music you enjoy, gentle dancing in your living room, or practicing rhythmic breathing exercises for 10 to 15 minutes daily. If possible, doing these activities in natural light might provide additional benefits, as this combination appears to target multiple neurobiological pathways simultaneously. The reason this approach can be effective is that movement, rhythm, and light exposure all influence neurotransmitter systems that support motivation and mood regulation. A fourth approach focuses on connecting with your personal values, even in small ways. Research suggests that value-based motivation networks in the brain can remain more resilient during periods of apathy. To practice this, you might identify core values that still feel meaningful to you, even if dimly. Then look for tiny ways to connect daily activities with these values. For example, if creativity matters to you, you might spend just 2 minutes sketching while having your morning coffee. If connection is important, you could send one brief, caring message to someone you appreciate. This approach works by engaging motivation pathways that may be less affected by the changes that contribute to apathy. The fifth method involves working with your natural energy patterns rather than against them. Research on circadian rhythms and energy regulation suggests that most people have predictable fluctuations in alertness and capacity throughout the day. You might spend a week simply tracking how your energy levels change from hour to hour, without trying to change anything. Once you understand your personal pattern, you can begin scheduling more demanding activities during your naturally higher energy periods, while using lower energy times for rest or very gentle activities. This approach respects your nervous system's current functioning while potentially helping to build sustainable momentum over time. The final approach I'll share involves what researchers call conscious reward recognition. During periods of apathy, our brains can become less sensitive to positive experiences that are actually happening around us. To address this, you might practice deliberately noticing and verbally acknowledging small positive moments throughout your day. When you complete any task, experience something pleasant to taste or smell, or have even a brief positive interaction, you could pause and simply say to yourself something like, "I notice this feels good," or, "This is satisfying." This conscious attention might help train your brain to recognize and process rewards more effectively, which could help counteract the reward insensitivity that often accompanies apathy. To summarize what we've discussed today, I want to highlight the key insights from current research and practice. First, prediction error training can help rebuild motivation circuits by providing your brain with clear feedback about expectations and outcomes through daily tracking of small tasks. Second, micro-achievement building activates dormant reward pathways by maintaining high success rates with very manageable activities that gradually expand over time. Third, rhythmic movement combined with natural light exposure can stimulate neurotransmitter systems naturally through gentle, enjoyable physical activities. Fourth, value-based engagement can bypass some of the depleted reward circuits by connecting daily activities to things that remain meaningful to you. Fifth, working with your natural energy rhythms rather than against them can help maximize your neural momentum by timing activities appropriately. And sixth, practicing conscious reward recognition can help restore your brain's sensitivity to positive experiences that are already present in your life. I want to emphasize that recovering from apathy is typically a gradual process that requires patience and self-compassion. Research suggests that these neural changes take time to develop, and progress often happens in small increments rather than dramatic shifts. What matters most is finding approaches that feel sustainable and appropriate for where you are right now. Please remember that while these research-based strategies might provide support, they are not meant to replace professional mental health care if you're struggling significantly. If you're experiencing persistent apathy that's substantially impacting your daily functioning, or if you're having thoughts of harming yourself, please consider reaching out to a qualified mental health professional who can provide personalized guidance and support. Your motivation isn't gone forever. Current research suggests it's more likely dormant, waiting for the right conditions to reawaken. The neural pathways that support engagement and passion remain part of you, even when they feel inaccessible. With patience, appropriate support, and evidence-based approaches, many people do find their way back to feeling more connected to life and to themselves. If today's discussion provided any support or insight, Please consider hitting the like button to help others who might benefit from this information find it. If you'd like to continue learning about mental health topics together, please feel free to subscribe to the channel. Remember to be gentle with yourself as you navigate this journey. May your hearts feel a little lighter, and thank you so much for listening until the end today.